When you were sitting at the bar last night and you were looking into the deep blue pools of her eyes as you were drinking your 14th Bud Light, you wondered, could this be the one? And then you proceeded to hurl all over yourself, run
And
to the
her
bathroom in
shoes.
shame, and now you're here Saturday morning with a pounding headache, your clothes in the dryer, hopefully after you've washed them, without your parents, because of course you're living in your mom's basement, finding out what you've done. That's okay, because that's what we're here for. We're here to get you through these tough times, these troubled times. That is what Sports Frenzy, that's what we're here for on the weekend edition. Your Uncle Dave and your Uncle Kev are here to get you through each and every Saturday morning after your Friday night failures.
And you should know by now, you should already have a cup of coffee in hand, your plate of eggs and bacon. You're ready to go.
To do it all over again tomorrow night.
Tonight.
Yeah, not tomorrow night, because tomorrow night's football.
That's right. Nobody's going out tomorrow night. Come on.
Welcome, as always, to the weekend edition. Of course, we jest, we joke. Hopefully you actually got lucky last night. But
we know the odds were against you, so that's why.
We've been there, we've done that.
Except hurling in the face of somebody you thought you were going to have.
Yeah, no. Haven't done that before. But we're here to get you through with our pop culture breakdown of music, movies, TV and streaming shows, and of course, the dumbasses of the week.
And books, because you need to be well read, you heathens.
So we will start off, as always, with rock and roll and an interesting tale to tell right off the bat.
Yeah, it did not exactly go as we had planned on Saturday night.
We promised you a review of Metallica. Or not Metallica. No, we wouldn't have walked out. We wouldn't have walked out.
No. Megadeth on Saturday night at a local speedway with special guest Biohazard.
Which is what we were told.
Starting at 5 o'clock.
Now, we made a bad assumption, and I know what they say about assuming, but here in the heart of Notre Dame football country, we kind of assumed that maybe that they had set this up so that Megadeth would come on and get off the stage and everybody could get home to see the second half of the big Ohio State Notre Dame football game.
Right. Silly us. We had planned for that such scenario.
No, yeah, we didn't eat because we figured we'd be out by 8:30, 8:45.
Grab a late dinner, watch the rest of the game, life is good. But no! Walking up through the stands, looking at the merch table, you noticed shirts for 2 additional bands, which were like, gets us thinking, well, shit.
And then the show doesn't start at the 5 o'clock time we were promised.
No, 5:30. And normally your no-name opener goes for a half hour. No, this female trio from Staten Island played for 40 minutes.
So we're already
very, 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 very long 40 minutes.
Yes. So, of course, now we're already at pretty much 10 after 6. And we're looking at each other and we're all going, my God, this is going to go on until 11:30 at night. This is not what we planned for. And I know normally...
not a big deal.
If we'd planned for it, if this was a trip down to Noblesville, we'd been told there were 4 bands, we could have planned appropriately.
We would have been prepped all in. As it was, because the night before, Friday night, standing at Pierre's in Fort Wayne, Mrs. C's hip and ankle are shot. And she's not doing well. She's in pain. And the seats that we were sitting in were very uncomfortable.
It was at a raceway. It was at a speedway.
It was a racetrack.
So, yeah, you're not going to get lazy boy recliners.
No.
But this is where we were wondering if we lose our rock credibility, our rock card gets taken down a notch or two, because after the first band, after this Jigsaw Youth, this female trio from New York, we all kind of said, wouldn't we just rather go back home, beat the traffic,
grab a bite to eat,
and watch the football game and just relax? Because this is going to go on forever. This is going to go on forever.
Knew we were going to
and we don't care about any of the bands other than Megadeth.
And there were only a couple of songs that we were dying to hear from them.
Right.
They were cheap tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. We bailed. Jigsaw Youth was not good. We had no expectations for the next. Biohazard,
all the descriptions we'd read of them.
I listened to 2 of their songs beforehand. I'm like, yeah, no, bye-bye, peace out. I wasn't looking forward to that.
Yeah. The bathroom situation was horrendous. I did not relish, as Mrs. C pointed out, no pun intended, eating hot dogs for 4 hours to try to get through.
Yeah.
Until Megadeth. So judge us if you will. And of course, I said Metallica at the beginning because, of course, Dave Mustaine used to be in Metallica.
Right.
So
and I wore my Metallica shirt.
Right. Forgive me my faux pas.
Yes.
But, yeah, so this has been we still got Chris Isaac coming up in November, but this has been a very odd year for concerts, for me at least, with bad opening acts that I didn't want to see that have had to suffer through some bad decisions by the venues. Then, of course, personal things, not being able to go do the doubleheader with Nickelback.
Some and health things coming up.
So, and now this, just not the best year for concerts. Let's put it that way. Some really good shows. I'm not discounting some of the really good shows we saw, but this was not the stellar year for concerts that I hoped it would be.
No.
But
that being said, Friday night last week at Pierre's, we had Asking Alexandria opening for the Who. Yes, the HU, the Mongolian folk metal band. Oh, so looking forward to this show for the Who. The boys discovered them playing the Star Wars video games. They've done music for that, and now are included. They have songs and everything, so they're kind of music is canon in the Star Wars video game world. They introduced us to them through that. Love them. The throat singing. Awesome stuff. But starting out, 0936 was supposed to be the third band, the opener. They've got the song on the radio, Adrenaline, out right now, which is really good. Unfortunately, they only got through 3 songs. The lead singer had a throat infection. He tried to sing through it because that venue is one of the places where they kind of got their start and have a good following in the area. He apologized profusely. He felt so bad that they couldn't continue. But what they played, very solid. So I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit more from them. Then Asking Alexandria played for an hour, got 14 songs in an hour. They did no bullshit talking in between. Very, very solid band. Uncle Kev would not have liked them because they did stuff a little too much. But we all enjoyed them. They did a nice job. Never at Pierre's, is all the shows we've been to.
Yep.
Five people were escorted out during Asking Alexandria's set. 4 within the first 3 songs. Security was earning their money that night. And it got to the point where the lead singer said something. Come on, people. We're all here to have a good time. Don't be stupid and ruin it for everybody. Why would you risk going to jail over something stupid?
Now, let's be honest, though. As much as I love Pierre's in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that venue is set up for trouble.
It is.
Because you're packing everybody in close quarters. It's not like a general admission, a more open general admission like a 20 Monroe
right,
in
there's
Grand
nowhere
Rapids.
where you can really back off.
Egyptian room.
Right. You don't have a lot of space where you can back away.
No,
and
because
get out
the bar is right behind
the
where most people
center.
would stand. Yeah.
Fortunately, we tend to go off to the side where it's not as insane.
But of course, they screwed you on that.
A little bit, because they added handicap seating for the first time for wheelchairs. Still, everybody was sitting, not in front of us. Still better than most everybody standing center stage. So still very good.
Right.
So really enjoyed Asking Alexandria's set. Then we get to the headlining of The Who for an hour and a half. Their songs tend to run a little bit longer. They did 8-piece band. They have the regular rock drums, then they have the traditional Mongolian drums. They have their bass player, and they have the rhythm guitarist. Then you have the 4 main guys. The lead singer who does the little boing, boing, boing little instrument, does most of the singing, some other stuff.
Is that the mouth harp?
Yeah. And then you've got 2 guys who have traditional Mongolian. They're not quite cellos or basses, but they're there strapped on and they play them with a bow, just a couple of strings. And then you have the lead guitarist. And those 4 are the main ones who do the singing, the throat singing. Come out in some of the traditional Mongolian dress. They've got their little totem that they put up between the drums that they carry out. It is a hell of a show. They are great. We abso-friggin-lutely loved it. 14 songs. As I said, they ran a little long here and there. The boys got to hear everything, all the songs they wanted to hear, which was great. They even covered 2 Metallica songs, Through the Never and Sad But True. And of course, it's all in in Mongolian with the throat singing. It's unbelievable. And I think the crowd gave them a better reception than they were expecting, because they were really feeding off everybody and everybody was just going absolutely nuts for them. Could not have been happier with their performance. So I have to give The Who a 4.
A 4? Wow.
Just the overall aspect and everything, and exceeding expectations. So it was just a great frickin' show that they put on.
Yeah, now we reviewed, it's been a little while, but we reviewed one of their songs featuring Adam Duvall from Alice in Chains.
Right.
Which was awesome. It was a great, great song.
Yeah, and then they're just so damn good. Yeah. I got nothing more.
Well,
the boys were so freaking happy.
4 frenzy speaks a lot.
Yeah, Asking Alexandria, I'd give 3.
Really? Okay.
They did a good job. I like more of their stuff, but I like more of the hard stuff than you do.
No, it's not the hard stuff. It's the
That's what I mean.
crap. That's not hard stuff. That's garbage is what that is.
Whatever. I enjoy it more than you do.
Oh, Jesus.
So this was a good night. It was a great family event. So
yeah, right up there with a night at the Waffle
it.
House. Yeah, Mongolian hard rock and.
Listen to the Who.
I would have enjoyed the Who.
You would have.
I think I would.
You would have. I think you really would have.
But I would not have made it through.
Asking Alexander, you would have had a hard time.
I would have walked out. Yes, I would have probably.
Yeah. That would have been your bathroom set.
Yeah, probably made Disturbed look like Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
Probably, yeah.
See, I make it sound like a goat. At least you make it sound like a baboon or a chimp like they intended.
Exactly. So
I heard a song. I heard a song by them today on the radio coming home. I could just tell by the lead singer. I was like, oh God, that's Disturbed. Channel change.
There you go.
Anyway, yes, I know Disturbed is very, very popular, and I'm in the minority when it comes to the fact that I can't stand them. But to each his own.
I'm in the minority because I can't stand Pearl Jam. So there
or
we
Dave
go.
Matthews.
I don't know if I'm in the full minority on that one.
A lot of fans. A lot of fans out there.
I know.
All right, we have 3 new songs to review this week, though, on top of the concert reviews. First up, our man from Jackal, going solo, Jesse James Dupree, with the song Never Gets Old, co-written with AC/DC's Brian Johnson.
This is a great homage to the great metal songs from the 80s.
Yeah, you have to listen to the lyrics. If you watch the video...
Very well have to listen to the lyrics because it runs the gambit.
Yep. And if you watch the video, they kind of throw the lyrics up there, but they change the font to reflect the logos of those bands. So Jesse James Dupree wears his rock and roll heart on his sleeve. He will never, ever, ever turn his back on classic rock or the heart, the soul, the spirit behind it. Now, that being said, this is an okay song. It's not. To me, it's not the best song in the world. This is not. Now, I've listened to some of his solo stuff, and some of it is fantastic. When he was with Dixie Inc., I've got that album, and that album is top notch.
Yeah.
This
is okay.
Yeah. This to me is.
I
give it a strong 2.
That's
strong 2 frenzies. And plus his voice is really sounding ragged. It's starting to sound a little ragged.
It's starting to get rough.
Yeah. Article today on Ultimate Classic Rock about Don Dokken addressing the criticisms of his voice.
He's never had a good voice to begin with.
And he says, of course, number 1, my voice is like a car and it wears down with age. And then he said, number 2, if you don't want to come to the show because you're worried about my voice, don't come to the show. So, more encouraging words from Don Dokken. Life lessons from Don Dokken.
Yeah.
How to discourage your fans and encourage your foes. Encourage your detractors. Encourage your critics.
Yep, and just walk off stage and take a leak with your back turned to the audience. What the hell?
And you said something about dogs too, right?
That one time he brought his little dogs out on stage in the little baby carriage when we saw him down in Wabash.
Yeah. What is it with the rock stars and their dogs? David Lee Roth, Don Dokken, Jesus.
Good Lord help us.
All right, so Dave and I kind of are in agreement here with Jesse James Dupree. Not a bad song, just not up to the level of Jackal.
Right.
So 2 frenzies
Left a
from
little
each of
on
us.
the table, but still worth a listen.
Now, this is a band that we normally have a little bit of a disagreement on. Not a big wide chasm, but
no, this is Mrs. C's favorite band. And I've gone to see them quite often with her.
Yep, that we're talking about the Struts.
A fantastic live band.
Second song off their upcoming album is Rockstar. Now, I did enjoy the opening riff, the first 20, 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, this could be really good. And then it kicks in and it's like, it's kind of generic, kind of doesn't do much for me. Sorry, it just doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. The way it started off, you were thinking this could be the song
for this album.
And it kind of took a dive to mediocrity.
Yeah.
After that.
Yep.
It maintained it musically. It was halfway decent. It was kind of catchy.
Yeah, it's not abysmal. No, nobody's saying it's abysmal. But again, the opening riff promised something a little bit stronger
and then
than
it just kinda,
a mediocre. Again, another mediocre song. So again, I go 2 frenzies.
2.5. Week 2.5.
I knew you'd do that. I knew you would do that. Because you can hear your wife's head, your wife's voice in your head telling you, David, I love them.
I like them a little bit more than you do.
Yeah, I think they are like Dirty Honey. They are just, they're trying their best. I'll give them credit. They're trying their best to keep rock and roll going here in this day and age.
The albums, there's something lacking in the studio work.
Well, you're not getting the live vibe.
Yeah. Live, they are much better live than they are studio work.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, I've seen them live twice, and the live shows are better. Yeah. I don't hate them.
No,
I just like Dirty Honey, I don't.
There's just something that's.
Rival Sons has what they don't. Rival Sons has what Dirty Honey and the Struts don't. They have the extra edge, the extra depth that I'm looking for in a band.
Yeah, they have that drive.
Right.
That comes through that doesn't with Dirty Honey and the Struts.
Right. Yep. And then finally, a band that I've been listening to for quite a few years now, trying to bring back Southern rock and roll. Blackberry Smoke, small but devoted following. New album coming out early next year. The first single is Dig a Hole. So I figured I would throw that one out there.
This I got hints of 38 Special off of.
Again, yeah. Probably that should.
Whole theme in there. I kind of got into this one.
Yeah.
It was pretty decent.
Yeah. Blackberry Smoke, again, somebody I got into a few years back because I love my Southern rock. So you tell me I got a new Southern rock band for you, I'm like, I'm in. Let me give them a shot. I will say this. I don't think Dig a Hole is Blackberry Smoke at their best. Little bit, I don't know, I just kept waiting for it to pick up a little bit more in terms of tempo, intensity, pace.
Yeah, they got right to the point where you thought they were going to take it up another level, and it didn't get there.
Right. Now, I've heard them in the past where they've been able to do that. This one, not quite what I was hoping for from the first single from the new album, but sorry, it's a lot of mediocrity this week, kids. Another 2 frenzies.
Yeah, 2 is where I thought with this.
Yeah, so
I will give them a chance with I'll go back and listen to some of their older stuff.
Yeah, because some of their older stuff is really, really good. You get a little bit more where you're saying this one sounds like 38 Special, you get a little bit more of the more freeform Allman Brothers type feel to them in some of their stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this for me, who I've listened to a lot of their music, this I can tell you right now was not them at their best.
Yeah. There's been a lot of mediocrity this year.
Yeah, I know.
There's no producers that are challenging the bands to take it to another level.
That's a good point.
You don't have the Mutt Langs out there right now that are going to push and push and push. And you're seeing it with everybody. And
well, we look forward to this year because this year looked like it was going to be a great year for music with the Foo Fighters. And then, of course, we were looking forward to the new Rival Sons. We had new Matchbox 20. And a lot of these albums just disappointed.
Yeah, because there's nothing there driving it to another level. It's just, But then you see them live, and that's the level they take it up to that doesn't come through on the albums.
Right. In a lot of cases. That is true. And unfortunately, the Foo Fighters didn't put on a long North American tour this year, so they couldn't support their new album. And we maybe, like you're saying, would have grown to appreciate it more.
Perhaps.
If we'd heard those songs live but here we are. Who knows? So, yes, sorry. Outside of the great review
for The Who.
Yep, a lot of mediocrity and missed opportunities this week. But we'll do it again next week.
Because that's what we do. We're here for you.
And we're trying to find the best new music we can because that's what it's about. Finding new stuff. Don't just sit there and listen to classic rock radio, listen to the same old crap, pour some sugar on me.
For the 4,974,823rd time.
Yes. So next week, new album from the former leader of the Stray Cats and the Brian Setzer Orchestra. New album is out. We've talked about this for the last few weeks. I discovered this, stumbled upon this.
Yep, Devil Always Collects.
So that is our featured album review for next week, along with 3 new songs. And these should be good, at least interesting. New Rival Sons, yes.
Woohoo!
Our new favorite band, the Rival Sons' new single, Mercy, off of the upcoming Lightbringer. Dokken, second single, Gypsy, off of their upcoming album, When Heaven Comes Down.
And then Sweet Sounds of Heaven from the Rolling Stones, their second song off the new upcoming album.
Yep, the album will be Hackney Diamonds. Should I tell you who guests on this song?
No.
I probably shouldn't.
You probably shouldn't because then I'll just poo-poo it.
Just listen to the song, not knowing anything.
Fuck, it's going to be Clapton, isn't it?
No. Worse. Worse.
Neil Young?
No. We're not even talking rock and roll.
Oh, God help us. Oh, sweet God, have mercy.
One of the 2 guest stars you would be okay with. The other one, I don't know about. But we will keep your Uncle Dave in the dark so he can enjoy the song, and then after the fact,
rip it to shreds.
Yes.
For Bob Dylan.
After the fact, after the deed has been done, he can rip off the bag off the woman's head, and he can see it was Shelley Duvall.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's an old reference. God. For the goodie.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back with the next segment on movies, baby.
Yes. Listen, you will, to Sports Frenzy 2.0, you must. Much to learn from the maestro and conquistador there is for entertainment every Saturday. On Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and everywhere are they found.
Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. Hey, kids, it's movie time on Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition, with your favorite co-host, the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Along with your Uncle Dave, the conquistador, Dave Height.
So we're going to be talking movies here on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby!
Otherwise known as iHeartRadio, as we still transition from Stitcher.
It still doesn't have...
No, but we love iHeartRadio.
We do. And you love Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Yes. As we get you through, hopefully the grease is kicking in, flowing through your rattled brains and nerves and veins as we try to get you through your hangover here on Saturday morning. Now we move on to movies. And this is going to be one of the more bizarre, difficult reviews for me.
Yeah, I kind of know where you're going with this one.
Yeah, this is a mutual review. We both watch the same movie, which is always fun when we can actually line up on the same movie. We do it 60-70% of the time, but
Fast X, Fast 10,
whatever you want to call it. Yes, the 10th movie, not counting Hobbs and Shaw, in the Fast and Furious series. Now, don't even pretend to think that this movie is going to make any sense, that you're going to get anything even remotely close to what we saw in the first 2 or 3 movies, where it was more, basic level street racing,
small time heisty stuff.
Everything since then has gone to hell. Now you're bringing in multinational espionage, and
they work for an agency trying to save the world with the most insane special effects stunts that you could possibly imagine. Physics-defying bullshit, which makes for entertaining action.
I know. That's why I kind of wanted to preface my review by saying difficult. Because there's a part of me that still kind of really likes it.
Yeah, I know. It's feel-good fluff.
But there's the intellectual part of my brain is like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you really fucking kidding me with some of this?
You just have to suspend all beliefs in physics.
Which brings me to a point.
Did you not watch Hobbs and Shaw?
No, I was going to say, do you know who won? Of course you do. But Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson was recently asked, well, we went back in the archives in this interview, said we went back there, and you said years and years ago that the number one offender among Hollywood movies in terms of defying all laws of gravity and physics was Armageddon. Would you like to revisit that? And he said, yes, I would. And he said, yeah, I recently saw a movie came out about a year and a half ago called Moonfall, which is 10 times worse. Paraphrasing, but he basically said Moonfall was worse. And I wanted to text him, to email him and say, have you not seen any of the last 5 or 6 Fast and Furious movies? My God. And that's the problem I've got. Some of the... Just in this installment alone, Fast 10, Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto should have died at least 3 times. Easily, without a single doubt. And somehow the car comes out pristine. With a couple scratches. And I'm like, come the fuck on. I can only take so much of this. And I'll tell you this. Jason Momoa is got to be the worst bad guy ever in the history of cinema.
Is he not the most over-the-top, ham-it-up psychopath, sociopath?
He brings out all the cliches.
Yeah.
Nothing original, nothing new. He's just over the top. He's trying to be a Bond villain on steroids.
Yeah, a very effeminate.
I didn't like him at all. No. At all. No. In this.
Just no.
And the more I see of him, the more I dislike him. Because with Aquaman, I don't like him all that much as Aquaman. I think it's all because the women find him hot. And that's about it. I don't think he's got much talent beyond that.
No, this was a very, like you said, over the top, generic-y type villain.
Didn't need to see the requisite Pete Davidson cameo either.
What the hell was that crap for?
I hate him. I hate him with a passion.
He's got no talent. He's not funny.
He's making millions upon millions of dollars.
He's not funny.
And he's not good looking, yet somehow he dates the hottest women in Hollywood.
Whatever.
Okay, taking all that aside, the gang's all back together again. Almost every guest star from the past 3 or 4.
They
Fast
pay
and Furious
homage
movies.
to everybody who didn't make it through the movies. I will say they do a hell of a job remembering everyone who's been a part of the family.
Yeah, and I did like how they explained at the beginning how we're giving Jason Momoa's character who he is and how he ties into the past.
Yeah, because they cut scenes from a previous movie. I think it was the 5th one.
Yeah, I want to say that. 5th or 6th. Yes, when they were in Rio.
Right.
Because, of course, it all ties back to Rio. And now some of the things, like you said, I think they spliced, added, tweaked, changed it a little bit. Especially, you have to stay, again, for the closing credits scene. Because, you get another big, boom, guest star coming in, and his role in all of this is explained.
Yeah.
Because Fast 10 is not, it is a part 1. Yeah. Fast 10 is part 1.
Yes.
Because there's no ending to this.
No, there is not. It's definitely cliffhanger.
Yes.
On a couple of levels.
Yeah.
It's not
You
resolved.
will not get closure.
It's not resolved.
There is no closure whatsoever.
You have to wait for 11.
Yep. There is no closure. This is part 1. They should just stop with this crap. Once you get past like 5 or 6, just stop with the numbering. I mean, I know Saw is going to do Saw 10. Even that's too much.
Yeah.
Just stop. This is Saw. This is like Fast and Furious, The Redemption or The Revenge, part 1. And then part 2 is coming out, in 2 years?
Yeah, Fast and Furious, Dante's Revenge.
Yes. There you go.
Part 1. Now Dante's Revenge, part 2.
But yeah, do not go into this expecting any kind of a resolution to anything, because this is part 1, even though it's 2 hours and 20 minutes of a longer tale.
Yeah. It could have easily been wrapped up.
See, now I could talk about this movie forever because there's so much going on, which is good and bad. Because I could say
there's double crosses and
Brie
triple
Larson
crosses.
is a terrible actress. I don't believe the fact that she jumps into one of the big action scenes towards the end in a pantsuit.
Thank you. Thank you. That was just the most ridiculous frickin' thing ever.
And then our buddy, of course, who we love because he's Jack Reacher, Alan Rickson, shows up. But it's a little too much of a fake villain turn with him. It's like, oh, come on.
Really?
Come on.
Really?
He goes from bad guy to good guy to bad guy again so easily. But
you know this series, you know what you're gonna get out of it.
yeah, we got
it's unbelievable, over the top action comfort food.
Yes, and again, I will tell you, people, do not expect any follow through on any plot lines that you see, because they bring in Shaw, of course, Jason Statham of Hobbs and Shaw, for about 5-10 minutes, and then no more to be found for the rest of the movie.
Well, no, because he's got to go take care of something else,
right? Which we'll find out about in the next one.
So
yeah. So again, that should be what you take away from this review: is that if
this
you
one
like these
sets
movies,
up the next one.
Right. Do not expect closure on any front. There will be plot lines dangling throughout.
There's a lot of dangling.
What do I give this? I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
I didn't hate it, but it's not a great movie.
I know, rolling bombs on fire.
It's a 1.5 that everybody has to see.
I'll be more generous than that. I will
Go
give it
2.
I will give it a strong 2. I can't recommend it. I would not recommend this movie to anybody in terms of
if you're invested in the series, then you need to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we are. We're 10 movies in. So it's like an obligation. You got to watch it. But yeah, I'll go strong 2, just because on some level it is dumb fun. But they're so bad. There's so much bad about it.
You have to give them credit for the effects.
Yes. But some of the stuff they pull is just so unbelievably stupid. And John Cena pumping a bunch of little bottles of airline vodka into
a little aircraft.
Yeah, his canoe with wings. Well, we need some kind of thrust. Yeah, that's what she said.
But bump.
Yeah, I think strong 2 is where I'll go. That's where I'll land with this.
All right.
Because I did enjoy watching it on a certain level, but a lot of my brain was screaming, "What the hell are you thinking? Wasting 2 hours and 20 minutes of your life watching this?" Well, because I've wasted about 14 or 15 hours watching the first 9.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's a dumb movie, but I liked it. Like we said, it's comfort food. So there you go.
That's how you got to look at it at this point. All right, we've got a couple headlines, and then we'll move on to books. A couple fun headlines. But first, of course, we have to acknowledge, the writer's strike is over.
I don't know if I'm happy about that, because they've put out shit for so long.
Well, no, I'm agreeing with you completely, because, okay, the actors are still on strike. So I don't see how that helps. You know what it brings back? Shitty ass late night TV is what it brings back. We get back Fallon and Kimmel and Colbert. But we don't get back
and
real
Saturday
movies.
Night Live.
Yeah,
and all
Saturday
that
Night Live
bullshit.
But we
crap.
don't get. Well, no, I don't know about Saturday Night Live, because they might be part of the Actors Guild.
Potentially.
But yeah, all the late night talk shows come back.
Oh, God help us.
But you could be right. They might be bringing back SNL. But yeah, all the shit that we don't care about anymore. But there's still going to be delays on
everything,
on TV shows and movies.
And you're still not going to get good, solid shows or movies.
Right.
Because these hacks just reinvent everything and have no clue what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of wanted the strike to go on and on and on and just blow everything up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a reset.
And we didn't get a reset.
Speaking of blowing everything up, just going back to Fast 10 for a second. John Cena's car.
That was badass.
That was like out of the Road Warrior.
That was awesome. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Here's a little something that I've been working on.
Yeah. All right. How do you feel about this, Dave? How do you feel about this?
Numb?
I haven't even posed the question
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
If you had to cast in one of those biopics, Richard Simmons, who would you cast as Richard Simmons?
Oh, God.
Anybody jump out at you? Anybody come to mind? Because I can tell you who's campaigning for the role.
Richard Simmons?
No. Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore.
You know what? I could see it. I could totally see this.
Pauly Shore, a.k.a. the
Weasel,
has got Richard Simmons' phone number, has been in contact with him, begging him.
Let me be you in your bio.
Yep.
Oh, I could see that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I could totally see that.
Now that's going to go straight to video and probably to Max or Prime
Whatever.
Video. But
oh my God, I could totally see that.
Because who doesn't want to see Pauly Shore and Richard Simmons brought back into the spotlight? I love me some Pauly Shore.
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely.
And then finally, before we move on to books, a little bit of gossip, a little bit of National Enquirer stuff. I don't normally do this, but our girl from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown.
The new author.
Oh, she got booked now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you about who she's marrying. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, Bon Jovi's kid.
Yeah, she's married Jake Bon Jovi.
Yeah, they've been dating for like a couple years.
So you're more up on this crap than I am.
Yeah.
I just found out about this last week.
Oh my God, they've been dating for like at least 2 years.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know this until I found out why John Bon Jovi won't sing at his son's wedding. And I see
because he
Millie
can't. Oh, sorry.
Bad memories. Bad memories from last year. All right, shall we move on to books?
Yes, why don't we?
Literature?
You take the lead because this is one of your
this is
rare appearances.
Oh, kiss my ass. Just because you read 14 books a month. I am catching up on the Jesse Stone series, which of course was originally written by the late, great Robert B. Parker. And at this point in the series was being written by Reed Farrell Coleman. So we're going back now about 7 years, 8 years for this book, The Devil Wins. So now, of course, a lot of you would know the Jesse Stone character from the TV movies back when there were TV movies featuring Tom Selleck. I don't think Tom Selleck was cast quite right. Didn't hate him as Jesse Stone. I just thought Jesse Stone should have been a little bit younger.
Yeah, just kind of missed the mark.
I thought Josh Brolin would have been a better call for that character. But that being said, the Jesse Stone books come off as kind of like minor league Spencer books. Something to get you through until you get the next book from Spencer and Hawk and Quirk and Belson and all those guys. So, of course, I laid off for a while, decided to jump into other series, read some other books. Again, not 14 a month like your Uncle Dave, but so now with some time, I've gone back trying to catch up on the series. And The Devil Wins is not bad at all. It is a interesting look at how Jesse Stone has to deal with, of course, being the Paradise Police Chief in the northeastern U.S., outside of Boston, the whole Massachusetts, New England area, has to deal with the fact he was a transplant from the West Coast, came in because of his alcoholism and problems with drinking, kicked off the L.A. police force, had to take the job in Paradise as a police chief. Of course, they brought him in thinking he would fail. He, of course, succeeded, controlled his drinking, became a success as the police chief. So now, all these books later, he has to deal with a decades-old murder case when they find the bodies of 2 high schoolers at the time of the murder in a collapsed building, it brings up all sorts of memories, bad for the community, ghosts, his I want to say his right-hand man, but it's his right-hand woman, Molly, who was directly involved and friends with the girls.
Oh boy.
On this tragic 4th of July night, again, over 2 decades earlier. Jesse doesn't understand the rhythms, the feelings of the community because he wasn't there when it happened. So he's got to try to backtrack and ask people, what was it like back then? Who were the people I should be talking to, investigating? And then another murder happens that complicates things. Are they connected? Are they not connected? He's got to, again, deal with Molly being distraught when he usually relies on her to be his rock, his steadying force at the police department.
Board,
right. And then he's got, of course, Suitcase Simpson, his other lieutenant in arms that he depends on, but he's dealing with other issues with him from the last book. So, of course, he's got a woman involved because it seems like every book there's a different woman he gets attracted to. In this case, it's the new medical examiner, and they have agreed to just be quote-unquote friends, even though both of them both of them basically want to rip their clothes off and do it every second they're together. So, again, it's another solid entry in the series. Reed Farrell Coleman is doing a very good job at this point of filling in. He's the third writer after Parker and Brandman. Of course, we know who takes over later on. We'll get to that point because he's taking over all of the Robert B. Parker books, and that would be one Mike Lupica. But Coleman's doing a very solid job to this point of the series. Again, another solid, just like the last one, very solid 3 frenzies for The Devil Wins.
All right, there we go. This week I have Tides of Fire by James Rollins, the 17th Sigma Force adventure. So, Sigma Force is a group of former special forces soldiers who have scientific degrees in different areas. And so they're able to take on some of the more bizarre historical events that come up to try and save the world from mass destruction on every level. So the cool thing about these is they are actually based on historical and scientific facts. So Rollins does a nice job weaving his fiction through with things that are actually true. And this one, earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions throughout the South Seas and the entire Rim of Fire take place after the Chinese have their lunar landing and trying to find a core sample. Somehow there's a piece in the moon that there's a counterpart buried in the core of the Earth. And when they drill, it sends a signal out to the Earth, which sends a disruption. And so, of course, what lies beneath the oceans in the trench starts mass chaos. And then the Chinese send a sub to try and find out, and the life forms down there sink the sub, causing nuclear disaster down below, and everything builds. And so Sigma Force has to work with their South Korean counterparts and the Chinese to look back at the historical record of how a past volcanic disaster was averted. based on the Aboriginal history and kind of complex, very intriguing, but it's a solid 3. They don't disappoint. They kind of meld more science and military with the Bond type stuff. They're entertaining.
I've always been intrigued by those books. I've always wanted to start reading those.
Yeah, they're pretty
that
good.
description just sounds fascinating to me.
Yeah, because there's a whole scientific expedition looking at what's going on down in the Tonga Trench and how everybody gets involved and multinationals. It's again over the top stuff, but it's enjoyable.
Like I said, sounds very cool to me.
Yeah,
very cool to me.
So I have.
But again, I don't read 14 books a month like you. So
right, yeah, I have not been disappointed with any of them. And like I said, this is the 17th in the series. So.
All right, so I'm sure your Uncle Dave will have another book review for you next week. Mine will be coming.
Yes, I will.
Oh, see, here we go. Here we go.
The latest Mitch Rapp adventure, Code Red. Mitch Rapp, of course, the assassin started by Vince Flynn. Kyle Mills has written the last 9. So I will have that review for you next week.
So what? This is September the 27th as we tape. So I'll have my next book review for you in November.
I'll have a few more for you.
Oh, kiss my ass. You're going to wait on John Sanford, though, when that comes out, the latest Davenport and Flowers, I will start reading that. I will put the Jesse Stone on pause, and I will start to read that.
I'll give you a head start, because there's a few others that are out right now. I think after Code Red, I'm going to have to get on to the next Longmire.
The Longmire Defense. The newest one.
Yep.
Yes. I know. Another series that I have not been able to start, that you've already read all the goddamn books in the series. I get it. Yes, rub my nose in it. Thank you very much. I still think, even though you're too young, even you are too young for this, you took the Evelyn Wood speed reading course.
I have not. If I would have, I would be going through 3 a week.
I thought you were.
No.
I kid because I hate him, basically.
he wishes he could devote the time.
Yes. Time is the enemy. It's like Hootie and the Blowfish saying, "Time, why do you punish me?" That's how I feel about time, because there's not enough hours in the day.
Time. One of the worst fucking songs ever.
You got Time the Avenger by the Pretenders. That's a good song. So, but we alas and alack have to wrap up segment 2. But
TV and streaming.
And then, of course, our moments of silence and America's favorite game show.
Woohoo! Red Foreman's Dumbass or Not.
So, one more promo break. Your Uncle Dave and I'll be right back to wrap up the weekend edition. And then hopefully by the time we're done, you'll be ready to go out and rock and roll again on Saturday night. So we'll be right back, kids. Now that we've let you into Frenzy Club, here are 3 rules. 1, you don't talk about Sports Frenzy 2.0. You listen to it on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all other major podcast hosts. 2 guys to a show. Kev Dave, the Maestro and the Conquistador. 3, 1 Sports Frenzy episode at a time. Until Saturday, when you get the weekend edition. Now get in there and let loose on some PC wussbags, will ya? All right, kids, last segment here on the Weekend Edition Sports Frenzy 2.0, taping on September the 27th. This, of course, will hit Saturday morning the 30th. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
All right, one final little bit of business I did not take care of in the last segment. I did want to read the last couple of lines from that book I reviewed, The Devil Wins, because I'm not big on this, but it is hard to bring a book to a fitting and appropriate close. And I think Reed Farrell Coleman did a great job with this book. So no spoilers involved here, but just kind of like a little bit of philosophy. All right, so bear with me. Okay, stepping down onto the granite path, Jesse Stone wondered why victories were always short-lived and why the taste of a win was never quite as sweet as the bitterness of losing. Someday, he would have to ask the devil. I think it's pretty good.
Not bad.
I think that's pretty good. I forgot to do it last segment. Had to do it for you kids.
Very cool.
To help, again, get you jazzed up to get a book in your hands and start reading. But, of course, now we're going to talk about sitting in front of the boob tube or in front of your phone.
The idiot box.
Yeah. Of course, our weekly look at TV and streaming, which, of course, includes, as we wind down Season 4 of Tacoma FD, Episode 10 from last week, Firefighters Only. Ike comes up with a dating app.
You know, this is probably Ike's best idea ever, but in true Ike form, poorly executed and not well thought out.
Right. Because he did not think about the ratio of male to female firefighters. So he had to create an algorithm in terms of a female
to keep the male firefighters involved and continually to upgrade.
And meanwhile, Lucy, one of the few actual real flesh and blood female firefighters, is getting offers and dates left and right.
Because she is the unicorn in the firefighter world.
And then, of course, because she's rejecting all these guys, taking them out, taking their dinners, and taking all their money for all the treats and all the wonderful things they buy for her. She, of course, says, well, I guess it's right. You shouldn't shit where you work.
Oh, Uncle Eddie was right.
And then, of course, you've got the big head contest.
The big head contest. Eddie once again pranking the chief.
Very funny, of course. Again,
good stuff.
Another solid season from Tacoma FD and Broken Lizard. Then, of course, the big debut this week was the first of 3 installments on Peacock of The Continental from the universe of John Wick. Now, your Uncle Dave has watched all of the first episode. I have watched about a third of it.
Yep. It's very interesting how Winston is getting sucked in and trying to come to the rescue of his brother. Lot of family history and bad blood are established in the first episode, and you haven't gotten there yet, but wow, things are really gonna heat up quick.
Yeah, and of course, since it's only a 3-episode event series, the episodes are basically movies.
Yeah, it's an hour. The first one's an hour and a half.
Right. So you're basically looking at 3 movies.
Yeah.
Is what you're looking at to piece together for this Continental epic miniseries. So I promise I will be caught up with episode 2 by next week.
Yep, we actually made this a family event because Mrs. C and the boys have thoroughly enjoyed John Wick. The boys got my mom, their grandma, invested in it.
Did she watch it?
She watched it with us. The five of us sat down and watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it. It is truly in the John Wick world.
So there you go, kids. That gives you something to watch this weekend.
And as much crap as they got for having Mel Gibson in it, he plays the role well.
Mel Gibson is still somehow suffering for comments he made, over a decade ago?
Yeah, and just let it go. The guy is a great actor.
And a great director.
Yeah.
Yep.
He is... Just let him do his craft.
Yep. Now, on the news front, we did get confirmation. Your Uncle Dave alluded to it last week. So I can't cancel Max yet because Doom Patrol Part 2 of the final season will be back October the 12th.
Yes, finally.
And as I told him, the quote-unquote movie poster that they put online with the tagline, "All good things are doomed." Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Good stuff.
Now that the writer's strike is settled, back with HBO Max, for me personally, and I still think you need to catch up on True Detective. You will love True Detective.
It's on the list to get to at some point.
So season 4 will finally air. Now we have a confirmation. Of course, Night Country is season 4 of True Detective starring Jodie Foster. It will now officially air. Shockingly, they announced this right after the writer's strike.
Oh, isn't that convenient?
Yes. January the 14th, 2024 will be Night Country, season 4 of True Detective on Max. So again, I'm probably going to be stuck keeping this goddamn thing a lot longer than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're now started as we tape this the night before season 2, episode 1 of Breaking Bad. So we got to try and get through that now.
An old show that has not been available on streaming or pretty much anywhere for decades. Finally, coming to Hulu on October the 10th.
Sigmund and the Sea Monsters?
Oh, would you shut up, Dave? Oh, would you shut up? Now, if you'd said Banana Splits, I'd have said, what?
Black Sheep Squadron?
Moonlighting.
Whoa. Wow.
Bruce Willis and Sybil
Shepherd.
Shepherd. Finally. Moonlighting will be on Hulu starting October the 10th. All episodes supposedly remastered in high definition. Of course, this was the starring turn for Bruce Willis that propelled him to superstardom along with Die Hard. As, of course, he plays kooky, quirky P.I. David Addison.
Yep.
Sybil Shepherd, of course, the movie starlet who owns the P.I. agency he works for.
Yep. It's kind of led into Blind Date.
Yes, and this, I'm telling you, this show has not been available for decades.
Wow.
So I will be watching Moonlighting.
There you
Definitely
go.
on October the 10th.
And I foresee a potential story time in the near future for one of his more unheralded films.
All right, there we go. There we go. Little bit of a foreshadowing. Been doing a lot of that this week.
Yep, there's one that I want to introduce the boys to. It's a little quirky and fun. It got panned, but it's kind of a fan favorite.
Am I allowed to guess or no? You don't want me to spoil it?
We can talk off mic.
Okay. Okay. I have my wrestling update for the week.
Deet.
Media rights negotiations. Of course, we know that it's now the TKO group as UCF or UFC, sorry, UCF. That's a football team.
Yes.
In Orlando. No, UFC and WWE merged to form the TKO group. And of course, immediately coinciding with that, TV rights were up for renewal. Shocking to me. Shocking. When you have a over-the-air major network like Fox airing Friday Night SmackDown, the WWE and the TKO group decide to put it on USA starting in October of 2024.
Wow.
So SmackDown will move from Fox to USA Network again starting in October of 2024.
So, of course, why would you take it off one of the networks?
That's what I don't get. That's
to
why
put it on cable.
I don't understand that. Unless
why are
they are so sweet on kissing NBC's ass because of how well that's worked
everything on Peacock.
But Raw is still up for grabs. No deal has been finalized yet for Monday Night Raw.
So are we going to see more UCF action?
UFC.
Or UFC.
I'm sorry.
See,
I did that to you.
I
did that to you. I'm sorry.
Are we going to see more of the UFC on USA and not so much?
No, they got the deal with ESPN, don't they? So I'm just saying.
It's all crap.
Now, the live events, the premium live events will still stay on Peacock. That deal runs through 2026. So WrestleMania and SummerSlam and all that, if you've got Peacock, you will still get those for the next couple years. Now, I imagine
they'll go back to pay-per-view
after 2026. I can't imagine they're going to stay on Peacock.
Because God forbid, you have UFC on Peacock.
Yeah. We're in the middle of a major shakeup for all of this stuff. And I think it's going to take a couple years for it all to sort out. It's probably going to screw all of us, the consumers, the fans,
consumers are going to be revolting and dumping stuff.
Now, in terms of the personnel, massive signing for the WWE, stealing Jade Cargill away from AEW. Jade Cargill was one of the women's champions for almost 2 years in AEW. She moves over to WWE, and if you have not seen her before, physically, whoa boy, you are in for I'm not going to say treat, but she is built. She kicked my ass in a second. And I'm not saying it because she's fat or heavy. She is cut. She is cut. And she's got an attitude. I want to see what WWE does with her and if they have to tone her down. Because her tagline...
She's going to run roughshod over everybody.
Her tagline in AEW was, "I'm that bitch."
Nice.
So I don't know if that's going to fly. Especially on SmackDown over the air for at least the next year or two.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
All right, now we move on, of course, to Moments of Silence. Very, very significant one in the world of television.
David McCallum, at the age of 90, has passed away. The man from Uncle. It wasn't Robert Vaughn. Robert Vaughn was the lead, but McCallum, as the co-star, carried that show.
Yeah, he was nominated for multiple awards. I believe won a Golden Globe. Ilya Kuryakin. I know I kind of butchered that.
Yeah, the Russian spy, yes. the foil to Vaughn's.
But everybody's saying NCIS star. Come on,
Later
he
in
was
life,
on
he
The
was
Man
on
from
NCIS.
Uncle.
He was the badass in The Man from Uncle.
Your Uncle Dave and I are the only ones that seem to get that. I'm sure there's a few more of you out there, but thoughts and prayers.
But it's always, what have you done lately?
Right.
That grabs the
Well,
headlines.
and nobody can deny the fact the popularity of NCIS. It was ridiculous. It's still ridiculous. Over 2 decades so far.
Yeah. Yep. And as popular as he was on there, once the writers get back and the actors and everything, they're going to really pay homage. I would not be surprised to see Mark Harmon come back for that tribute episode. Because in the show, Gibbs and Ducky kind of came into it together. They had a shared history that they were really connected. So if it doesn't happen, everybody would really be disappointed.
But thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to the family and friends of David McCallum. And then on the music front, big band in the 60s, The Association, and Along Comes Mary. Terry Kirkman from The Association passed away. So thoughts and prayers go out to the rock and roll community.
Yep. And then Catherine Anderson Schaffner, co-founder of the Marvelettes. Their big song, Please Me, Mr. Postman, has passed away.
Was it Please Me or Please Mr.
Or Please, Mr. Postman. Same thing, right?
I think I saw that movie back in college on a night when I had to go into the curtained off room in Blockbuster. I think I got Please Me, Mr. Postman.
A Freudian slip.
I have a special delivery for you, ma'am.
Special delivery for Mr. Herman.
Postage did. Oh, God. All right. I missed a couple of news notes to get us off this. This is what cost us the elder statesman back on cable access 30 years ago. Is when we started to make porno jokes. And he quit because he had a reputation to protect. We don't care at this point.
We don't care.
All right, forgot to mention, for those of you who have Prime Video, if you do not want ads in your shows and movies anymore, you're going to have to pay more.
Bastards!
$3 more. $18 a month if you want ad-free Prime Video. And again,
screw you, Bezos, you greedy bastard. Is this to pay for the lawsuit now?
Yeah, of course, class action lawsuit. 17 states in the FTC?
Yep. Going after
for monopolistic practices. And then, of course, personally, this one hurts me because we talked about the wrestling news of the week. I am not watching wrestling nearly as much as I did during the pandemic. Understandably, more time devoted now to productive things like work and podcasting. But the show Heels on Starz, starring Stephen Amell, of course, of Arrow. Really cool, dramatic show about what was going on behind the scenes at a Georgia, mid to low level wrestling alliance, and the drama between him and his brother. And first season was great. Second season just finished up, and Starz said, "Yep, that's it. We're done."
Of course they did.
So Heels canceled after 2 seasons on Starz.
At least they got 2 seasons.
Unlike Terriers.
Bastards.
Left or right? Left or right? Dave and I.
We're still bitter, damn
it. Dave is going to visit me when I have dementia in my hospital bed.
And I'm going to go left or right.
No, I'm going to be the one screaming in the hospital bed. Left or right? Left or right? He's been saying that all day, Mr. Height. Do you know what it means?
Yes. Yes, I do. And I'm not going to explain it.
All right, now it is time for your favorite segment each and every week. America's favorite game show, Dumbass or Not. I have 4 contestants this week to pit against your Uncle Dave. He will decide, have I overstretched, overreached? Are they truly dumbasses or are they not? First up, this is kind of an ongoing thing. Idiot concert goers. This time in particular, I'm going to focus on Pink. Because Pink has had not one but 2 situations with stupid concert goers here recently. Number 1, somebody threw a bag of ashes up on the stage.
What the hell?
And of course, Pink asked, what, is this your mom? But here very recently, within the last couple days, some absolute jackass idiot, of course, these are all people in premium seats up towards the front of the stage doing this stuff, showing Pink his phone.
Who cares?
Showing Pink his phone because he's got a message on the phone. And she looks at it and goes, really? You paid all this money to do this? He turns around, starts showing the phone to everybody behind him and around him. Basically, his phone has got a big message on it saying, circumcision is evil.
Oh, for the love of God. What a fucking dumbass.
Now, when I first saw the story, I was like, please don't tell me Pink is up there talking about circumcision. And of course, it turns out, no.
This guy's just a freaking raging lunatic.
A fanatic jackass. So thank God, eventually he would not stop, and they did escort him out of the arena.
God, I hate people.
But between them the fans throwing stuff at people,
enjoy and don't screw things up.
How about we arrest
else.
them and charge them with something?
Yeah, disturbing the peace.
To somehow try to discourage them from doing this shit again.
Accountability.
At one point in time, it's going to turn ugly.
Accountability is needed.
One of these superstars
are going to get seriously hurt.
One of these pampered Hollywood superstars is going to end up in the hospital. And then what's going to happen?
At the least.
It's going to be these idiots ruining it for everybody. Because then they're going to put up what? Plexiglass around the stage?
Yeah.
Netting?
There you go. Chicken wire.
Yeah, great.
Chicken wire like in the Blues Brothers.
Hey, that hurt on here wall. Hey, that hurt on here wall. I listened to that last week. What do you want? Rubber biscuits? Sorry. It's one of our classic asides. There is a new Golden Globes Award, Dave.
Who gives a rat's ass?
We're going to love this one. If you remember a few years ago, everybody started complaining, saying, why is it that the popular movies never get nominated for Best Picture? Remember Black Panther? Everybody was up in arms about that. Well, the Golden Globes have now added the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award. Basically, the most popular movie of the year will get a Golden Globe.
As it should be, because Best Picture should be the most popular, shouldn't it? Instead of this artsy-fartsy bullshit crap that usually wins?
I would like to think it's somewhere in the middle. I mean, do you really want to give this award to Barbie or Super Mario Brothers? Like, Oppenheimer kind of deserves it.
Oppenheimer would be up there for it. Barbie, hell no. You're right, there has to be a medium ground.
Right. A very popular movie that still had some kind of artistic integrity.
Yeah, a decent story.
We'll see.
Good acting.
We'll see how this plays out. I guarantee Barbie's going to win this. Guaranteed.
Oh.
And sticking with movies, our buddy Martin Scorsese, just like we talked about in our sports episode this week, and Rory McIlroy won't shut up about Live Golf. Well, Martin Scorsese won't shut up about comic book movies. He's back on his bully pulpit again saying...
Oh, what? Just because comic book movies are more popular than the tried true old hat, been there, done that mob movies that he's stuck in a rut with for the last how many decades?
Couldn't have said it better myself, buddy. Couldn't have said it better myself. He's bitter about the popularity of the superhero movies. Now, you'll admit,
They've
the last
gone to
3 years, ever since the pandemic, they have been awful for the most part. Doesn't matter if you're talking DC, Marvel, maybe 2 of them have been good.
2, possibly 3 have been worth watching.
But his quote to fight back stronger against comic book movies, number one, shut up, Martin.
You're a dumbass to begin with.
Just like Dave said, you think because you make mob movies left and right with Robert De Niro, that makes you
that are 3 to 4 hours long,
the
that
voice
you're good?
that should be able to tell all of us what to watch. How about you allow us to have fun at the box office and at the movie theater once in a while? We don't have to go see your movies all the fucking time. Listen to Robert fucking De Niro dropping fucking F-bombs.
Because if we've seen 2 of your movies, we've seen them all.
But here it gets better. When he quotes a couple of the people who are fighting back stronger against comic book movies because of the movies they make are such, they embody cinematic integrity. You know who he mentioned? Christopher Nolan.
Didn't he have the most popular Batman trilogy?
I think so, Dave. I think so. So wouldn't that make Martin Scorsese a little bit of a fucking hypocrite?
And a true dumbass.
Finally. Dave and I, of course, diehard concert moviegoers. This is going to be a little tricky to explain. Bear with me. But, of course, Live Nation is involved, so you can pretty much say dumbass right away. But they feel for the plight of the performers. So starting next year, thanks to Willie Nelson, they're calling this the On the Road Again initiative.
Oh, God, help us.
They are, now on the surface, it sounds like they're being so wonderful and so awesome. They're removing merchandise fees for artists. Did you know that when we go buy a t-shirt at a show at a Live Nation venue, like Ruoff Music Center, they take 30 to 40% of that money?
What?
Yes.
Oh, screw that.
So they're waiving those fees now. That money will all go to the artists now. And I believe it's at smaller venues only. They will be giving the artist per show a $1,500 travel stipend. Now, let me ask you this. Everybody would read this and go, why are they dumbasses for doing this?
Because we still get screwed as the concert goers. We're going to wind up having to pay more per ticket to pay that travel stipend. We're not going to get discounted shirts.
Yeah, pretty much, again, you read my mind. Ticket prices will go up. Merchandise prices will go up. Because do you think Live Nation is going to cut their revenue, cut their profits?
Oh, hell no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're finding another way to squeeze more money out of everybody.
Your $18 beer will now be $22. Your shirts will go up from $45 to $55 because they will not cut their profits. They will not cut their revenue. They will once again screw us, the fans. So thank you, Willie Nelson. Go smoke a bowl and kiss my ass for starting this initiative. Now, do I think it was right you guys were getting 30% pulled out of the t-shirt sales? No. How about we take Live Nation and Ticketmaster down? How about that? That's the solution. I'm tired of solving the world's problems, Dave. Tell the kids goodnight.
Tell the kids goodnight.
He's Dave. I'm Kev. We are Sports Frenzy. Check us out next Thursday morning for sports. 7 days for the weekend edition. We love you.
Bye-bye.